Hey guys, Dave from Wolfhard Hobbying here, and today we're going to continue taking a look at painting the Skorza Skirmisher from the Wrath of Kings Goritsi starter box. In the previous video we did all of his fur and his muscles, and as you can see there, he's starting to look really good. So today we're going to take a look at doing his armor here on his arms, his knee, and also his arm on that side. Now, as I said in the previous video, his other hand, I did paint it the same color as the skin, but I'm going to paint the other one armored, as it should be painted there. So this is just my way I'm going to do the metal on him. He does have these little chains or hooks on his back and in his hair and everything, so we're going to be picking that all out in the same color. And the metallic I decided to go for this skirmisher is Vallejo Model Colors Brass. It gives it a nice breakup in the model without it being too gold. So here I'm just going to start painting on his armor. Now with the Vallejo Brass, this will take a couple coats. I think it takes me 2 or 3 coats to cover up the dark gray, but once it's covered up, it looks really nice. So just see here, I'm just carefully picking out all the little armor plates, making sure to get in between. I'm going for more of a brass color than a gold. I do sometimes use this brass color as a base coat for a gold, and I leave that in the recesses instead of doing washing. But in this one I decide to actually wash the armor later on. So again, just carefully watching my brush strokes, because I have to do multiple layers of this color. I have to kind of alternate my brush strokes for it to cover really nicely. So as you can see here, this is just the first coat on this model, but already it's starting to break up the color. It's starting to give him a little bit more life instead of just being monochromatic. So I'm just getting his little cuff here that holds his armor plates onto his arm. So you got to be careful of that cuff. I got a little bit on his arm there, so it's a little minor touch up, but you don't want to do a lot of work on touching this up. So again, that fist should have been painted the same brass. I could have done it, but I decided to leave it for this one guy, as the rest of them I do paint it the same color as the armor. So here I'm just going to get his little knee pad here. It's kind of self-explanatory, just kind of cover the whole thing. I only do the front facing, I don't do behind the knee, as I don't feel that it really needs to be painted there. Again, I'm painting this to my version of a tabletop standard. So as you can see here, I'm just finishing up the armor plating on his left arm here. I like how it's breaking up the grays from his skin, giving him a little bit more color, a little bit more life, drawing your eye to him as well with those brass colors, really drawing the eye into the model, whereas before the grays kind of just made it very bland. I like the coloring of the fist, so I do decide to paint all my other skirmishers with unarmored fist in both hands. So here there's little chains hanging off the back of his hair, so I'm going to pick that out in the brass as well. I don't want to do a silver on them, just as he's already gray enough and the silver would just blend in a little bit too much. So just grabbing the brass here and hitting those little details. Now you do have to look hard for these details in the hair, as they do kind of blend in after you're done your dry brushing. So be careful of that. So now I've got most of the rings done in his hair and on his back. So I'm just finishing up here on the top of his head. You got to be very careful when you're painting these, as you could smudge into the mane itself and give them kind of a brass hairdo, which is not what we really want here. So as you can see, all the brass is now done on this model. It's a little too bright and shiny and new, so I'm going to dull this down because I don't like that look on war game style models, as it doesn't make much sense, as their armor wouldn't be brand new. So I come in with some Agrax Earthshade here, and we're going to do a heavy wash on all the armor pieces, just to bring it down into a darker tone without making it too muddy looking, but it also does give it a little bit of a dirty look, which I like because these guys are fighting over land and stuff like that, so it's not going to be polished and clean. So I'm coming in here with a fairly big base coating brush and a lot of water on there. I'm just going to mix it in. I do thin these down with water a lot, just to help get it in the recesses more than on the rest of the armor. So as you can see here, I'm doing a fairly heavy wash. It's the effect I'm going for. Some people don't like it, but this is how I like to do it. And again, in the hand here, and in previous you saw me going against the grain on those armor plates. That just helped draw the wash off of the brush. Now I don't do his chains or anything in his hair, as that will muddy up the gray. So now with that dry, we can now come in with a highlight. I'm only going to do one highlight on this guy because I'm planning on battering up the armor and making it more worn and bring down that color a little bit more too. So my highlighting color that I choose to go for is Vallejo Model Color Old Gold. I like this because it's just a bit brighter than the brass, but not too much brighter than it. So it still gives it an old worn look, and we're going to do this essentially edge highlighting all over the armor pieces. On the knee pad here, I do most of the top part of the knee pad. I'm not doing it just the edge, I'm bringing it over. And again, I'm using my lamp as kind of where my light source is coming from to help me pick out where I can highlight. It's an easy tool to use, this lamp. It's a standard lamp, so it shows you where you can pick out your highlights, which is really nice. So here I'm just hitting the knuckles of the hand, and then just this one line right there of that armor plate on his hand as well. So working our way up the armor here, I'm now doing just an edge highlight on these armor plates here. I do an edge highlight on the rings in his hair and the little hook on his back, but this is about as far as a highlighting process as I'm going to go, as I don't want it going up into a gold. I don't want to give it a gold effect. I want this brass color. And all I'm using here is I'm just using a detail brush to achieve this effect. So now that he's all done, I'm going to beat up the armor a bit here. I'm going to come in with some Citadel Lead Belcher. It's a really nice dark metallic, so it's going to really sell the effect that his armor's beaten up. So I'm coming in here with a piece of sponge from a Malifaux box, and essentially you just put enough paint on there, kind of like a dry brush. You don't want a lot of paint on here, as you don't want it to take over the color that you already have here. So now I'm just doing a stipple motion. You just want to bring the sponge in and out onto the model, just so that it catches some of those highlights and some of the flat pieces. And just kind of do it randomly where you think he would be beaten up, where the armor would have wear and tear on it. As I did just 1 or 2 spots on the knee, and I'm doing the backs of this armor here. It brings it also down. It brings the color to a more dull looking color, which is what I want. Again, with Goritzi, I don't want bright shiny colors, as it kind of goes against their lore. So I'm just hitting the knee again because I want it that to look really beaten up to sell the effect. So now I'm coming in with essentially a highlight for the damage. So I'm coming in with Ruin Fang Steel and the sponge again. So as you can see, I've got enough on there, but not too much. And this one's going to be very, very light stippling. It looks like I'm doing it really hard here, but I don't really have a hold on the model that well. So just coming in, figuring out where I want it to hit and at what angle too, because the angle you come at with the sponge also determines where the paint's going to come off. So there you go. He looks very beaten up. It brings that color down, makes his armor look nice and worn, which is the effect that we want to go for. So again, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more painting. In the next part, we're going to cover painting his shorts, his sword, and the details in his face. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe, comment, like, follow me on Facebook. I will be posting works in progress for the rest of the models that I'm not covering in the videos. And again, guys, thanks for watching and have yourselves a great day.